work with nonprofits. They'll submit something and we'll go through and work with them on small scale to help them with their needs. And by virtue, kind of introduce ourselves in the community and then be a part of that community.
Hello, everyone. It's Sean from Thrive with another episode of the Power Up, where I meet with successful small business owners and operators to learn about their business strategy so you can take their insights and level up your own business. Once your business is ready to expand, knowing where to start can be overwhelming. Our guests have some creative solutions for how they've tackled tricky problems and turned them into growth opportunities. Now, let's dive into today's episode. All right. Hello, everyone. Our guest today is Kris Tatum from Company Distilling in Tennessee. Back in 2009, Tennessee only had 3 distilleries until the Tennessee Distillers Guild got involved. Kris served on the Guild's board, and he was a key partner in working with legislators and others in the alcohol industry to ensure fair access to new opportunities while supporting all distillers in the state, large and small. Kris wanted to make drinks that you would offer your favorite guests, and in 2020, Company Distilling was born. All right, Kris, you ready to get going?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Well, my first question for you is, talk to me about just in the little bio right there. I said that, there's only 3 distilleries in Tennessee until the Guild got involved. I personally think of Tennessee as like having a ton of distilleries. And so when I saw the 3 number, I was a little shocked by that. So talk to me a little bit about the history of the industry here in Tennessee and what's changed.
2009, yes, I believe that's right. At that point, there were 3 distilleries, 3 DSPs in the state that were active. Jack, George, and Phil Pritchard. So you had Jack Daniels, George Dickel, and Phil Pritchard. At that time, there was a jobs law. If you recall, 2009 was coming right off, and it was probably in the heart of the recession. So there was a jobs law that was brought on by some legislators, and part of that big law was the opening up, if you will, of the distilling industry. And so that's where it started to grow. There was a distillery, Corsair Distillery, which is still around. That was one of the first ones, as well as Short Mountain. And then we all know about Old Smoky. So I think the unique part of the Guild was that we did come along after, but we came along as a small group. There were only 13 of us. Jack and George and Phil and Old Smoky and all them were not part of it at the beginning, but it was just 13 of us small distilleries across the state that got together to form the Guild. To be able to come and to have representation in Nashville and to speak with one voice. That's been our mantra. I was brought on, I believe it's but elected as president in 15. So we spoke with one voice was the biggest thing we did, and that allowed us a lot of success, and it was a lot of respect was earned with legislators and commissioners and really officials across the state, including the governor's office during that time. So
that's great.
It's just kind of great. So now I believe there's probably 50 plus distilleries in the state. Not all of them are a part of the Guild. Some of them are very small. Some of that number may be off too, because high gravity beer, some people used to have to get a distiller's license to do high gravity beer. Subsequently, the laws have changed. So that's changed some things up. But yeah, it's grown a bunch, big time.
Very cool. Are you still with the Guild personally?
We are still a member. I am not active. I stepped off the board in August of 20. The reason being, for me at the time, I think your voice, I just think that you have to have change in leadership, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's a guild or whatever, because your voice you need a fresh voice. I mean, that's the bottom line. And I thought it was a good time. I had actually planned to roll off in the beginning of 2020, but then we all know what happened there. And so I was asked to stay on, and it was flattering and it was necessary, and we stayed on. And that's when we got into the whole hand sanitizer thing and everybody. Yeah. So
did you guys participate in that process?
Oh, absolutely. We were one of the first ones to do it. I'm not bragging about, but we kind of didn't know, we didn't know what the hell was about to happen when it came to, this coronavirus. If you recall at the beginning, it's called the coronavirus. So at my distiller, that distiller I had at that time, was partners on at that time, was Old Forge. And the distiller called me on a Thursday and he's like, man, I'm doing some hand sanitizer and I've got it lime scented. So it's like Corona in a lime. And we thought it was the funniest daggum thing. And then come Monday, it was like everything blew up from a perspective around the world. And so, you pull that real quick and then we look and get serious about, well, what can we do? We do have this capability to make something that can help. And so we were great. It was great. The distillers across the state, Old Forge included, of course, kind of led the charge, and the distillers across the state provided a lot of hand sanitizer. We had stuff as far away as New York City and Maine, Detroit, people coming down to get totes of hand sanitizer from us right there in the little Pigeon Forge. So it was definitely an interesting time. And then I stepped off shortly as in August of 2020.
Got it. Great. Well, next question. So how do you guys, at Company Distilling think about, differentiating yourself in the market? Is it literally just the alcohol that you guys are distilling, or is it something with marketing or, approaching your customers, or you're the experience in a different way? How do you go about that?
I think it's probably the experience. I mean, my partner and one of the co-founders with me is Jeff Arnett, and former master distiller Jack Daniels for 12 years and with the company for 17. So his experience, his palate, I mean, it's crazy good. So it's amazing, and so having that, I don't think we have to have some big discussion on we're the best or we are the best or this is better than this, because there's good stuff everywhere. There's stuff that I love and there's stuff that I don't love, but that somebody else does, so the consumer needs to ultimately decide that. So we definitely focus more on the experience side. We definitely, on the experience side of this whole thing, we want the experience to be good for you, not only in our stores in both locations, but also it's the experience of like, hey, grab a bottle. It's good. It's sessionable, so you can sit down with friends, and we want to be the one that you're finishing the bottle off with 10 or 15 people, not the one that you get that golden bottle sitting at the top that's sitting up there, and you're like, hey guys, take a little sip of this,
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what our brand is definitely gathering around and just being with friends.
Sure, that's great. Do you guys do any sort of like community building or loyalty programs or anything to kind of get your customers coming back to you, and not just like a tourism factor or anything along those lines?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of different things. First off, we're very involved in our community overall, whether it's with local communities like Helen Ross McNabb Center or different chambers, et cetera, across the state. Something we're about to launch this year is the company Get Around and Give Back program. Be where we work with nonprofits, and we they'll submit something, and we'll go through and work with them on small scale to help them with their needs, and by virtue kind of introduce ourselves in the community and then be a part of that community.
Okay. Are you able to share a little bit about what the Get Around and Give Back program looks like?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I am sorry, I'm about to cough bad.
That's okay.
I don't know how to mute this. Excuse me. This is all coming about. Anyway, I don't really want to ruin the launch of it, but I'll say the concept is definitely one where, not for profit, we're going to reach out to not for profits in a community that either A, we're about to come into from a market basis, or B, that we already are in. And what it's going to do is be able to give a little bit to everybody. And that's the thing that you find most when you have a business, is you have, everybody wants to, everybody, there are needs in a community. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Pilot Corporation, but
are you talking about like the travel stations? Yeah.
Yeah. So founder there, Big Jim Haslam, and I'm sure I'll jack this up, but he says Tennessee has a low cost of living but a high cost of giving. And so, we've got to give back to the community, those of us that have the fortune to be doing what we're doing. And so that's where that lays,
Yeah, that makes sense. That's great. Well, good luck on the launch.
Yeah,
so talk to me about how you guys are selling your product right now. Is it all physically in person, or do you sell wholesale? Do you sell online? What's the sales strategy for your business?
Well, the way our business is set up, thanks to that law from 2009, was we have a retail store. We're a manufacturer with the permission to sell at a retail location. So anything we produce, manufacture, we can sell in our stores. So we have 2 locations, Townsend and Thompson Station. But then and through that still goes through a distributor. We have anything outside the state is also through a distributor, and those are not retail stores. Those are through. Those are not through our retail stores, but they're through retail stores like you would think of, like a liquor store, an ABC store, or a retail store is also considered a restaurant. So we run the gamut on that. And then we also have a good online partner. It's based in DC that allows people in the states that allow product to come in, the ability to buy our product as well.
Got it. Who's the online provider you said is based in DC?
That's Sealbox is our online provider. Yes, sir.
Sealbox?
Sealbox. Yes, sir.
Okay, interesting. Cool. Never heard of them. So let's see. So what are your guys' what are you thinking about for 2024? Where are you hoping to take the business this year? Is it opening a new sales channel? Is it the get around and give back program? Where are you guys looking for the next 8 months or so?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the get around, give back kind of program. We have some new expressions that will be coming out with. We have our three flagships, but we also have what we call an experimental line. So we'll be adding to that line. We have a big festival in November. It's we've kind of taken that on as being our big launch time for new iterations or new expressions of bourbons and whiskeys. So we're just going to continue to try to build our brand, and not just build it from a year over sales perspective, but also build it from a knowledge or from a recognition space, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think the program that we have, and being able to even beef up and attend more different various different events is important as well. And then we are looking at, I believe, 6 more states. So that should put us, I believe, to 12 states. So that'll be a good thing.
Okay, 6 more states for what specifically? I'm sorry.
For distribution.
Okay.
Yes,
got
sir.
it. Getting your product into 6 more states. I see.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Got it. Talk to me about what's it like to go to Company Distilling? What's the experience like for you guys doing tours? Or I've done a couple up in Kentucky, but what do you guys do at yours?
Yeah, so we have a tour. We have a tour. We also have a brewery, by the way. I want to make sure I mention that. We launched a brewery about a year ago. So we've got some great beer as well. Whiskey's what beer wants to be when it grows up. So a lot of brewers don't like that statement, but I love it. It makes me laugh. But so yeah, you come in, it's very laid back. It's a beautiful building, of course. Both places, they are different and dynamically different. One is a new building that's only 3 years old, in the middle of Townsend, and the other one is an old 120-year-old grain silo, or not grain silo, but grain barn that has been renovated in the city center of Thompson Station. So it's really just about relaxed environment. Come in, have a drink, have some food. Even if you don't drink alcohol, we have a great non-alcoholic selection, which is something that you don't see a lot on a quote whiskey trail.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and then what goes around in the community environment around us is huge. We've got river rafting, tubing, mountain biking. We have a phenomenal one of our partners is a phenomenal mountain biking course. I think it's almost 15 miles of mountain bike trails, just about maybe 300-400 yards down the road. And then of course we're right at the mouth or the opening of the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So that's the Townsend location. Thompson Station location, fine dining, if you will. Circa's right beside us. It's a great restaurant. And you're only 30 minutes from Nashville. So it's fantastic for you know all that there is to do in Nashville. So the experience definitely varies, but it all comes back to a common theme of gathering around or sitting together and just enjoying each other's time, man. And then we want to provide those environments to do that at both locations, whether it's inside or outside, January or July, it doesn't matter.
Got it. What's the name of your guys' brewery? Is it under company or is it something else?
It's under company. It's just inside. We don't do any distribution on it. It's just stuff that we have there. We have a system that we've put in from the beginning. Sometimes coming off the bike trail or coming off the greenway or a hike or something, you're not going to necessarily want to grab a bourbon, on the rocks or even a bourbon neat. But having a good cold beer is important. So that was the concept behind it.
Got it. So anyone that goes to your website will be able to find that your guys' beer selection at some level.
Oh, absolutely. You can actually, there's a link to buy it. There's a link to have reservations for different types of tours. And then, like I said, you can still grab some food while you're there. We've got a great little local restaurant that's put a site there in our building there.
Sure. Okay. Last quick question, and I have a few rapid fire questions after this, but Sell us on your favorite bottle. What's your personal favorite bottle at Company?
Uh, I mean, it's our flagship, our original flagship. We have three flagship expressions right now. We have a maple finish, a Tennessee whiskey, which is a applewood finish, and then we have a rye that's a cherry wood finish. And I just think the maple wheat bourbon is which is our original blue label. I mean, it's smooth, it's good. Can have it neat, or one ice cube in there. Anything else
Yeah,
is wasting the spirit. But yeah, that would be it.
that's great. Very cool. We'll have to order some bottles after that, and I'll have to come down and visit you guys soon.
Please.
All right. So we got four, or technically five rapid fire questions. Are pretty easy, so don't worry. But number one, what would you say is your fastest growing sales or marketing channel in your business?
The retail, on-site retail.
On-site retail. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say is your personal favorite resource? It can be like a blog or a YouTube channel, something in that realm, to grow your skills or to grow your business.
I think growing our business is probably going to be via two things. Number one, Instagram, or I'd say it's Instagram specifically. I know it's all the meta, the metaverse, if
Yeah.
you will.
Hmm.
But the next thing is the ease with which our customers can check in, check out, and enjoy themselves.
Okay. Right. What is a piece of technology that you guys cannot live without in your business?
Internet.
Okay. Are you guys doing any fun and tapped into any of that, like, fancy little AI stuff, anything along those lines that you guys are digging into?
I've got our marketing team looking into different things at AI. We've had some fun with playing around with actually writing some press releases with AI or job descriptions, just kind of screwing around with it some. But honestly, having great internet and having good devices, the mobility aspect of our devices makes it great for, especially that we're an outdoor place. It's
Okay.
phenomenal for us to be able to do that.
What kind of devices do you guys like to use outdoors?
We have the Flex position for Clover.
Clover Flex. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice. Um, okay, what's a piece of advice you have for other business owners that are ready to start stepping things up in their business?
I think everybody needs to think about experiences. I mean, even if you're talking about buying a car or buying a shirt, I mean, or a suit, you got to have I think everything's coming to experiences. I think we're a country of convenience. We have been
Hmm.
for my whole life. There's so many things that people have gotten rich on, so to speak, or had success at because they come up with a niche that's convenience based. And so I think that is still part of our lives and will continue to be more part of our lives. But I think that the next part of that's the experience, whether that experience is the beautiful views when you sit and have a cocktail at Company, or is the experience that I can walk up, tap my card at the gas station pump and get the hell out of there really quick. I mean,
Hmm.
that's convenience and the experience. So I think experience, whatever you're going to get into. I mean, even your doctor's office, look at them now. It's not just a gray room anymore. There's a kids play area. There's a couple TVs, or hell, even a barber shop. Think about
Yeah,
that. You used to go to barber shop, sit there, and now you're talking about cocktails and TVs and sports. And, you know what I'm saying?
sure.
So I think it's all experience. You can link everything back to convenience and experience.
That's great. All right, last question. Where can our listeners find you, either physically or online?
CompanyDistilling.com. Pretty simple. That's the best thing. The second place would be physically is going to be in Townsend, Tennessee. Company Distilling in Townsend, Tennessee, and Company Distilling at Thompson Station. Our website also offers a big old map that shows where our products are available across the U.S.
Great. All right, Kris, well, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Power Up by Thrive. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into strategies that you can use to grow your business. If you're ready to take these ideas into the real world, head over to thrivemetrics.com. That's THRIVEMETRICS.com to sign up for a 30-day free trial of our business management software.